You can pretend to talk about basketball currently, just because of World Star and what it's giving me.
I would like the table and listeners to know that I have lost 3 corn nuts in my cleavage in the duration of this podcast.
Hey, it's fine. You're just going to have a good time later. You're going to be like, oh, yay!
Hey, they're down there.
Will you eat them later?
Probably.
Will you really?
Probably.
I usually just let
You gotta love
things
yourself.
fall.
You gotta love yourself.
Well,
you
but I
can't
love
just be
corn
like,
nuts more than I love myself.
Good Lord.
I don't like myself very much.
You're the mama
You
kangaroo.
should like yourself a lot more. You're a great lady.
I really have trouble liking myself a lot.
I'm real glad that we kept you, I'll tell you.
Was there a question of keeping me?
Yeah, I didn't think you'd make it through level 1.
What?
I thought Nathan was gonna
Well, Nathan was cute. That's why I stuck around.
Thank God. I thought he was gonna scare you off because it was like his first class,
well, Travis staring at my tits almost scared me off.
Who?
I would love Travis to stare at my tits.
I'm not a big fan of Malia. Malia's not a big fan of Malia.
Malia's
we were actually
crazy.
talking about that before you came in. Like what we would do with ourselves.
Like a lot of...
No, like if we had another self, if like you just got to meet yourself.
Oh, I would give myself a massage.
Yeah?
I give dope massages.
Okay.
And I'm
Damn.
Oh, I do. And then I would just be like, hey, go to fucking town and we'll switch, and every hour, like this whole day, we're just gonna go to town on each other.
Okay, that's the best idea because I won't let other people massage me. I don't like people touching me.
Oh, see?
So like that would be my one time to get a massage.
Would you let yourself jack yourself off? It's basically masturbation.
I mean, it's gonna start here, and it's like
it's gonna
get a little Pinot Grigio in me.
Yeah.
You know, like Inya's gonna be playing,
and his head's just gonna like end up on your shoulder, kiss your neck a little.
I'd kiss me. I definitely would.
I don't think I would kiss me.
It would be like
interesting.
I'd be like, what's up?
I'd peg myself.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, that's as far as I'll go.
I feel like you're trying to rip something out of me now. You're just like, I peg myself. What would you do?
No, listen, I don't want to go down on myself. I don't want to finger myself.
Malia Moss, everybody. Is that it? I'm just kidding. Just keep talking about pegging yourself.
I don't want to actually physically touch myself sexually, but if I'm like wearing a strap on, I could fuck myself.
But you would... Never mind.
I feel like my social life would crumble because I'm that asshole. I would just want to hang out with me all the time because nobody's gonna there's not gonna be any arguments about what we want to do because it'll be nothing all the fucking time.
I guess.
I think I'd alpha dog myself.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
Make
I'd
him
be
wear
like,
a mark or something.
No. I'm not saying I would do it. I'm saying both me's would be like messing with each other. Like I'm in charge. I'm in charge. I'm in charge.
Because that's the thing, though, right? Like,
I'd be so efficient.
Sure, to a degree, you would be the same you. Somebody's taking another shower, but then you would start to have different.
Maybe it's the people.
Oh, sure, but you would immediately
different
become different people as soon as you split. You would be 2 different people. But
I don't know if it's soon.
Okay, but are you the good you and the bad you?
It's either epigenetics or it's genetics. So epigenetics would start to have an effect on the 2 different bodies, and it's like, and like this is the fundamental question about consciousness. It's like, are we really fundamentally different from one another, or is it that our gender and that our experiences can fundamentally never be the same from anyone else in this world? So the second that, like, say that I was to split apart into 2 people, identical people right now, the nature of one person sitting on this side of the room and the other person sitting on this room is going to have an effect on the person's personality over time. Even if we try to live the exact same life, someone's going to look at this one first and not this one, and that's going to have an effect psychologically.
Yeah.
So you become 2 people instantly.
Exactly.
That's an interesting idea, though, that when we begin, we're all the same thing, and then once we
I honestly think that we're just a part of a
everything.
collective consciousness that splits up, and then we rejoin after we die.
Interesting.
Yeah, because, listen, you can never have the exact same experience as any other living being on this world. So, as soon as you create your own existence, as humans, we have this like self-awareness and this consciousness, which is just detrimental, but also at the same time, is that a penis?
Yeah, I penised one of your hearts.
Nay, thanks.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
not all of them.
Or we got
Just
like
the
pinnacle of deep, and then,
Is that a
and then
penis?
you're like, is that a penis?
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I thought this was going somewhere else.
I was like, wow.
Well,
Did I misread that? I'm sorry.
No. Well, so like, you know, as self-aware, conscious creatures, we have the burden of having a personality to one degree or another. But also, I think that animals fit in this category as well. But you can never live the exact same life as any other creature. So you, by default, are going to be an individual to one degree or another. But you can never test whether or not the personality would be shaped the exact same way with, like, if you had identical twins, they're living separate lives. Even if they try and live the same life, they're living separate lives and by default will have slightly different personalities. And then, you know, epigenetics comes into play and genetics and all that kind of stuff. So I am of the opinion, it's just like a recent opinion that I'm kind of okay with. It makes me like just be okay with being conscious and the idea of non-existence at one point happening, that, you know, we're all just the same, gathering information for ourselves by living these slightly different existences, and then when we die we'll just rejoin with the energy of the universe and, you know, provide all of our knowledge back to whatever we came from before.
So
that makes a lot of sense.
And so, like, this is just a question.
Go for it.
In this, like, in the way you explain that. Okay, let's say I'm 45.
No.
And
pick a different age.
36.
Stay with 45.
Stand your ground, Wendell!
Okay,
You're 45.
I'm 45, and I am cloned.
As a 45-year-old, as a baby.
As a 45-year-old, like, let's say that there's some process where they just make another carbon copy of me. Is that person not, or is that thing not still going to react exactly the same way I would to everything?
Does that thing have your memories?
Yes.
Is it aware that it's a clone?
Okay, for a period of time, that
awareness in
person...
itself.
Yeah, that is a big... Okay,
that awareness in itself is going to affect its behavior.
Yeah.
But from that instant where you're both created, moving forward, you're going to live different lives just by the nature of not being the same being.
Okay, let's say that, okay, it doesn't know it's a clone. This is one of those situations where this is like an organ bank for me.
Okay.
And, like, basically it gets to live...
Okay.
It gets to live a normal
What
life
movie is
until I
that?
need it. The Beach.
The Beach.
Yeah.
Wait, no, isn't
No,
there
it's another one.
The
In
Ewan
that-
McGregor movie.
In that instance...
Yeah.
In that instance, that person would be significantly more different from you because they would never meet you. They would never be part of your life. They would have an entirely different existence.
No, like if they still have my memories or whatever, like it was me
If
just
they-
living in a
if they
different
have
place.
your memory-
cease to exist and then they take your place?
No,
or
if
do you
they
both
have
live
your
parallel
memories,
lives?
then they know they're a clone.
Yeah.
Like,
it
what
was
if
your
it's just like one
idea
day
to
I
create
woke
a
up in the
clone.
beach and I just kept living my
Well,
life
wait.
like I would
So
on the
in
beach.
this
It's not-
in this
no, no,
scenario,
no.
is the clone? Do you stop existing, or you just go to a room by yourself, or does the clone take
No, it's
over?
like
Or you
I'm
just
going
live
on and
different-
just
There's
ruining
two
my
of them.
body however I feel like it, and there's another me living in another
just by
state.
nature,
or
Are
something.
you going to
being
force
in
that
different
person
places,
to
you're gonna be
live
different
properly?
people.
No, like I don't really have any connection to its life other than just a me happen
But if
somewhere
you
else.
want, if they are created as a means for you to mine their organs at a certain point, you would need to force them into like veganism and make them take vitamins all the time so that their body would function when yours did not. If they are you, they're going to fuck themselves up in the exact way that you are.
Yeah.
But
Even in
again,
that
the moment of
scenario-
separation
My organs would also
is
be
what
as
makes it
fucked up.
different.
Well,
Well,
that
even
point.
in that scenario, to a certain point, you guys would probably make similar decisions and live similar lives. But at some point, you got to think about the person you are now is based on all of your experiences up to this point, and not being that person. They're going to have different experiences and different perceptions of the world. So ultimately, they're going to end up being a completely different person with just like a perfect DNA match for you that you're going to harvest
Yeah.
their liver when yours stops working.
Yeah, I guess there would be no point in giving it my memories.
Well, I
And I
mean,
keep
no,
saying
it would need something. Otherwise, it would have an emotional crisis and kill itself.
Well, at that point, it'd just be like grow a body somewhere.
When you were talking about the idea that having the consciousness in and of itself affects us in the way that we're at, it really sort of blew my mind in the idea that like it's almost like I recently watched this film that was about a scientist who had done behavioral study experiments on people, and he had forced people to do certain things to see how they would react to that thing.
Was this like Nazi shit?
Was this
No.
like the Stanford prison experiment?
Oh, that fuck that shit.
No. Okay. This is a guy that figured out that people would continue to believe they're continuing to give shocks to people in another room. When in fact they were not doing it. So
just to see how they
did it, and they would always do it all the way up to the end. Just because somebody told them to do it, they would do it, even though the person was begging them to stop. There's a person in the room who would do it. Right, but that's the sort of the argument is that that's the natural state of people. People will just do what you tell them to, and the problem is nobody liked hearing that because everyone wants to think that they're whatever. But regardless, with reference to that, what I'm saying is those people, when they found out after a while, they asked them a Q&A, and then they told them the story.
Yeah,
and they were like, "This is what you've just been a part of. This is what it is.
Sure,
you did this," and then the realization that they had not actually done anything to anybody affected them in whatever way that it was. So my thought is this: I wonder if, and I don't necessarily believe that it has to do with an Adam and Eve setup, but what if humans? I mean, I guess in the Cro-Magnon state they were people who did stuff and lived in the world, but they weren't constantly, they didn't have the consciousness we have where we're like thinking about ourselves and analyzing ourselves and doing all this.
Sure.
And then at some point there was this break in the evolution from like cavemen all the way to now where like there's a moment when all of a sudden they've been bestowed upon this consciousness that makes them understand. And that in and of itself, that addition to who they were totally made them flourish in a much bigger scenario and become more different. Whereas Cro-Magnon men were all the same-ish.
Sure. I think it was, I want to credit the advent of using tools as a means for that because that really lightened up the load that our brain had to do. Whereas if you look at certain animal species, there's consciousness is something just innate in life. I think it's really just the self-awareness aspect that humans at a certain point became aware of the self and had an identity. Whereas I think that a lot of other species don't really have that to the same degree. And our problem with other species is that we don't have a means of communicating, so we can't really fundamentally understand how they work or how they function, and they're a lot more community-based, whereas we're a lot more individual-based. And recognizing that split, I honestly don't think it's really that other than a lot of other animals because we are community-based. Like, we thrive when we're around people who are like-minded and feel welcomed in a society. But we have this notion of being individuals that I honestly think is false. We're a part of a emergent system. Just like slime molds or cities, that we function on a whole, but because we identify so strongly with ourselves, we don't give credit to that whole, and then we destroy ourselves like we're doing right now. It's like destroy the planet because we think that like my actions individually aren't going to impact anything beyond me, whereas they absolutely do because we're all part of this system where everyone's thinking the same.
I mean,
are you okay?
Yeah.
You tired?
Well,
you took off your glasses. I'm worried.
Normally your glasses are off for the thing.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
Okay. I've been talking a lot and wanted to bring the attention away from it.
I mean,
can I just say that I'm sorry, Wendell, say what you have to say.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, going off of that, do you think, like... I mean, because it's like... so it's kind of about the frontal lobe, right?
Sure.
I mean, that's sort of like where...
Oh, that's where we store all of our shit.
Yeah, and that's where, like, a lot of the, like, awareness and kind of, like, emotional complexity, I think, comes from.
I don't think that's unique to humans in any... Well, anyway, keep going.
Yeah. Oh, well, I was just going to say, like, you think... One would think in a perfect system on paper that being able to communicate with one another on such an in-depth level, like humans gain the ability to do, that we would have just, like, skyrocketed. But that animal is still there and it holds us back, I think.
I honestly
really,
don't think that we have the ability to connect with each other better than animals do. I honestly think that certain animal species connect on a deeper, much more complex, and much more useful level than humans. I think that language has isolated us more.
Tower of Babel.
Yeah. Well, so, like, So like just whales or dolphins or elephants, like they work in groups and they have their system and they feel very deeply when something happens, and then they just move on with their lives. Whereas, and I think that they know each other as a collective separately than and just more than we could ever know, because it's like we're all part of TNM, and it's like